Hey guys, Stealth here. Today we have a tactical on mud fight, which is going to provide us with, well, what I've ever, or at least lately, the most traveled Challenger 2 tank. It's going to be going to Alpha and Foxtrot and Alpha. It's basically going to be doing a large patrol loop over here. And all the while, getting threatened with side shots, getting threatened with airstrikes. Let's see if it can survive everything. We're following Lockhart today, and he's not just going to be bringing his Challenger, he's also going to be bringing a Challenger marksman to keep this thing alive. And of course you're forced to start with a command vehicle, so, well, you might as well. The rest of the team seems to be spreading out. We have a tank from Frawfoot over here, we have, oh my god, Kenny on the right, AGGMs from Lockhart, or at least he's requesting that we place some of them there. Zirian over there with a CV. I, however, do not see a lot of units going right at the moment. We have the Merkava, we have one Hios. A duo stack of automatics. Are you sure about that? I like the automatic and tactical, I like it a lot, but this guy, I wouldn't exactly use it in a group of two. It's too easy to target. Anyway, let's skip it up all the way to the point where we start off this game. And of course, immediately, being a tactical, one of them has already left. This, however, is a Red 4 player. So here we are. Challenger 2, Challenger Marksman, and a column of transports. Now for some reason these guys still don't know how to take corners. They still do not know how to use the intersection in a proper way, so they always fly off the handle, quite literally. Talking of flying off the handle, the V150s are jumping off the road here. These guys, I gotta give them points for formation driving. We have a Saxon going in from Timo, K5111, and Artie's already at least suppressing the area, although there's not that much to suppress yet. Timing artillery strikes on these regions, I'm not gonna say it's an art, but it does come down to an art to exactly time it right, because you never quite know what sort of vehicle you're dealing with. In the back we have an air superiority fighter, Mirage 2000, and I saw something else flying around here. Might have already been evac. Anyway, I was quite surprised when I saw the Challenger 2 over on this side. I thought, why is he bringing his Challenger 2 here? And why is it not elite? Because if I'm using a tactical deck, I'm usually focusing on 2 or 3 units in a specific deck, for example the automatics. And I do everything to boost the firepower of that specific unit. So if I were to take a Challenger 2, I were to take a British armor deck and just have 1 or 2 of these things at elite. And that way you know that you get the best firepower for those points that you're investing in that tank. Anyway, sending a super heavy out onto the left side, where it has very little infantry support. I thought this was going to be a very short match, at least for the Challenger 2. Yes, this thing has a lot of armor, definitely, but you need infantry to screen for you, and 20 rangers with their escorts are not quite going to do it. In the meanwhile, on the right flank, we seem to be having an issue. We have an M84 AK and an M91 Vhor coming in from the right flank, and there does not seem to be any stopping them. They're about to overrun the Maglands over here. A M325 is running away as quickly as possible. They even brought AA to make sure that the tanks do not get airstriked. And we have absolutely nothing that's defending this side. That's because somebody scored 180 points, and that was the Merkava 3 that originally went to this side. So right now, we are very, very light on this side. Magland trying to get missiles in. Of course, it does not get the time to lock on, and immediately gets wiped out. And that means that the road towards the command vehicle is open, and with that the road to Echo is open as well. So, Lockhart steps up and decides to go over to the other side. His Challenger is already moving about. The Challenger Marksman was especially lucky that there was no HGM parked in this tree line or this town, because they probably would have been in range by now. But so far, these things have not taken a scratch. They've only been using quite a bit of fuel, as this tank, well, its mobility is decent at 550, But if you keep it moving for longer periods of time, you're really going to start noticing this thing running out of fuel. So, over to the other side, where we still have enough vision, we just don't have enough firepower, because one recon leopard and Bedouins are already scouting the front line. The side is completely gone. There's nothing left here. We're scrambling a Humvee TOW 2 in, but that's about it for Blue 4. Oh, and we have an automatic. But of course, the automatic without optics on this side does not really stand a good chance of survival. So, the Challenger has to speed up and get his ass over here ASAP. Otherwise, there's not going to be anything left by the time he gets here. The left flank, surprisingly, has seen very little action. There are still Rangers over here. There's still units which transported them, but they all have not fired a single shot. We do know is that there's some sort of artillery firing from this position. Didn't quite get the angle they were firing from. But this is where it all takes place. And again, the Challenger marksman, very, very risky here. He probably wasn't aware that his Challenger marksman was this far forward. And the T-80UM twice so far has missed the Challenger. Now the missile has struck it, so it's down to 4 hit points, but it's still alive. And probably out of line of sight from the T-80UM, but it is going to need repairs. Now, the hurried defensive line that we have over here is done just about in time, as the command tank is coming in, the VHOR, and the AA. We have a Block 15 trying to do an airstrike, didn't succeed, instead got fired at in return. So the things that we have defending this area are the Green Jackets, the automatic, and the Challenger 2, and no more automatic at that. This is all we have. Green Jackets trying for their lives to keep these things suppressed. Not a chance, not against 2 of these tanks. Challenger 2, however, is doing good work and just killed off one of their tanks. And as this VHOR keeps moving forward, it is opening up its sight to a shot from the Challenger. But fortunately, we have a longbow over there that takes it out with 2 Hellfires. So, it seems that this side, at least for now, is defended. But the Challenger is still being detected, so there is still some sort of recon nearby. Now it's no longer detected, but you cannot quite be certain that this flank is secure. Points-wise, Blue is doing quite well. We have 1025 versus 450. And we have some reinforcements going on to the left. Of course, it is still being neutralized, and right now we're starting to see some action. As we have a transport and... Yep, the ever impronounceable Finnish units which are pushing forward. I wonder who's going to win this. It seems to be the Rangers for now. Mostly because these guys do not come with a machine gun. All they have is that submachine gun that they're running about with. A little bit to the right we have the Rangers and the V-150 squaring off against the VDV. But that's about it. There's not a whole lot of action going on just yet. The question is, how long is it going to stay the same? Because the BMP-T right now could pretty much by itself turn the tide of this side here. On the right, there's a whole lot of attack markers going up. We know there's AA over here, they're running. We're playing defense markers over here. Finally spotted one of the recon units that they have up here, the Rozvedka. And of course the T-80UM, which we can see is being resupplied and repaired. Or refueled, rather. So we know that they have logistics trucks nearby as well. Now the Challenger on the right side is moving up. It's pushed out anything that may have still been in this line, but it is running out of fuel, unsurprisingly, because it went all the way to Alpha, drove all the way through Delta into Foxtrot, fought a little bit over here, killed some stuff over there, and now it's down to 423 units of fuel. Fortunately, there's already a stalwart coming in to resupply the thing. As you can see, there's still quite a bit of communication going up here. Is the Rozvedka dead? Nope, it's not dead. Okay, so we know that they probably still have decent vision over here. Left flank, interestingly, has been captured. I was not really expecting this. Because so far it seems that blue has not really made that much of a dent in this area yet, which is where I'm expecting the command vehicle. Of course, it could be that they delivered either an artillery strike. Yeah, they probably fired a couple of those M2A1A rounds onto the target. And that may have spooked the CV, so it may have been relocated. But now it's back, and once again, neutralizing Alpha. Our Challenger is still waiting for resupply. Once it's there, we might be able to slowly move up with the commandos as scouts, the Challenger marksmen for AA, the HEOs for longer range plane AA, and hopefully push out some more of these units. Of course, there's still the issue of the T-80UM. That is, unless it got taken out while I wasn't paying attention to it. But I don't believe that that's the case. I believe the T-80UM is still over there. Left flank, by now, is seeing some really weird combinations of units, as we have a quad stack of recon going in. That's not something that you see very often. Especially not the quad stack of that type of recon. Let's see if the Royal Marines can find it again. The Ranger seems to have been pulled back towards the cargo to get some new fresh recruits. And for now, the Royal Marines are holding the line, albeit just the 15 of them. That's all that's holding that left flank. Challenger 2, taking on supplies, getting ready for another push. You can see that he only has the fuel gauge active. He does not need resupply in the sense of ammo, he does not need repairs, so we're good for that. And in the meanwhile, the Challenger marksman has also been repaired. All good so far. Now it's interesting to see what exactly this Ural is doing here. I'm not sure if it's scouting or if it's trying to drop off some infantry. If it's the latter, then it's not a really safe maneuver to do so, but, well, people in Wargame haven't always been known to do the safest thing, myself included. Left flank, Timo with his Royal Marines. Half of the Royal Marines on the left side already got wiped out, and now the other half is gone as well. So now we have Spetsnaz Gru facing off against the Royal Marines. But I believe that the Spetsnaz, there we go, have support from the BRDM-3. BRDM-3 with an autocannon has to be taken out quickly, and oh look, a command tank. I don't think that the the Marines can get that thing in one go. Fortunately, this thing has a weapon jam for 50 seconds. Marines firing again. Lost line of sight on the tank, but it's still alive. And this guy is trying to run off as a couple of transports are chasing him down. I don't know if he's going to make that. Took out another transport. Reloading. Come on. Nope. And immediately the transport goes elite. And at this point we have something else to worry about. Echo. Echo is being surrounded, or actually is being flanked. At least one player, best shot, was flanking this side with a bunch of helicopters, and of course these are mostly transport helos, so we're not just dealing with helos, we're dealing with the infantry as well. They just lost both of their FOBs, and we have one Milan 2 unit who's trying to do what it can. It was just brought in, and well, at this point they're just scrambling. We have a VAB which is trying to deal with the aircraft. It's a decent AA unit, but against this many helos it's going to take a little time to get through them. Givati facing off against the LSTR, and Lockhart is trying to rush his Challenger marksman back. This is Milan 2, and his transport just got wiped out. Time to have this thing actually do its AA duty. Fortunately it's going to be resupplied by the FOB very, very quickly. So ammo is not a concern, which usually is a concern for the marksman system. These things tend to really quickly run out of ammo. And yes, they're very accurate, they do a lot of damage, but that ammo issue, that can really make or break your AA defenses. So far we've seen a couple of these helos go down. We have 1, 2, 3. We have a wrecked artillery unit over here. That was one of the M110s. So we know that they have a few helicopters, some infantry, and a command unit, presumably infantry, which is neutralizing this zone. So guess who shows up? Matthewson, once again with his Challenger 2, came back all the way from over here, rushed towards its home side to try and get the zone under control. The biggest issue that they have is that they don't have a lot of optics over here. They don't quite know what is going on here, except for the fact that we saw some LSTR and some helos. We don't know how much infantry they have left, and we don't know exactly where they are. They could be moving up towards this side of the tree line. We have mostly transports coming home, a bunch of Humvees, Fuchs, a Vab, and there we go, there's the first unit, Specialny Jednotki. Unfortunately, the Challenger Marksman's not quite into range, and before the Challenger 2 can get into range, we already lose line of sight on the Specialny. Fortunately, the LSTR have no such luck, and this duo does a really good job on trying to get the guys. That's not just all. There's another group of LSTR. Let's see if they can... Oh, there's the Specialny, trying to get a potentially flank shot on the Challenger, but he's not having any of that. It looks like he did get hit, but the frontal armor absorbed the damage. Otherwise we'd be seeing a whole different status on his health bar. LSTR is trying to get into cover of the tree line, so they're out of line of sight from the Humvee. There's another infantry unit, a 5-man squad, and that was the command infantry. So, do you push in? Well, with a Challenger Marksman, you can. This one has enough armor to at least sustain one hit. There we go, that's the LSTR dead. Now the line to the command vehicle should be clear, and you can see they're already recapturing fobs. Is this enough? Is that the only command unit that Red has been bringing over here? It seems to be the case. They can now bring in resupplies again. Now, as the Challenger on the right flank left the battlefield, it seems that Red 4 has seen this opportunity and taken it to start pushing forward. We have AA units coming in, and if there's AA moving forward, that means that there is at least one tank going there as well. In the meanwhile, Lockhart's fielding another Challenger Marksman, as well as an infantry transport, just to set up a little bit of a defensive line. Others are bringing in the Super M60, we have another recon unit coming in, all to just boost the, well, at least the defensive line here, insofar as you can call that a defensive line. The Challenger, once again, has to be resupplied. Unfortunately, thanks to all the fobs here, that should no longer be an issue. Challenger Marksman is going to need a touch of repairs here and there. After taking that hit from the LSTR, it is down to half health, or a little less so, and is going to need a little bit of time before it can catch up to the Challenger 2. That's why you have the other Challenger Marksman. This one already got one more promotion, thanks to the fact that he killed off quite a bit of infantry. And this one's a fresh guy, but still, it's better than having no AA on the right flank. Left flank still seeing some action, with the BMD-3 and VDV-90 pushing forward. And the only thing that's standing in their way is a couple of VLRA Mistral trucks. And one command vehicle, which is unarmed. So it seems that Alpha is lost. And the interesting thing is, what we have over here is still a point lead for Blue 4, while Red 4 seems to be pushing on all sides, and is doing rather well at it. Now, unfortunately, the Challenger Marksman got taken out by what I think was the T-80UM. Super M60 rushing forward, but the Challenger 2 got the kill there, and is now working over the AA, with support from the Maglands. And once again, it seems that Red is quickly being pushed out of this zone. Just to keep the line. The Challenger is, once again, a little bit late to the party, but is making all the difference. There we go, best shot surrenders. That was, I believe one of the Red 4 guys was operating here, as well as... Actually, he was operating here. He was the one with the helos. You can see that, oh my god, Kenny over here is trying to at least clear out these woods. Not sure what's going on with the helos, if there's still any left in the first place, but rather safe than sorry. And of course this can be a tactic by Red, just to try and have somebody dedicate their attention, their focus and their reinforcement points onto this zone, which really holds no strategic value, at least not at this point. Red 4 has captured Foxtrot, has captured Alpha and is neutralizing Delta. And where... okay, the command vehicle from Blue is returned. And is now neutralizing Fox. There's another AA unit. It's detracked. It's just waiting for the Challenger to turn up. There we go. We have over here is the Ural. This is probably the Ural that we saw earlier. The commandos seem to be capable of taking that out very, very quickly. If they get into range for their AT weapon, that is. But, nope, Maglans decide to steal the kill. This guy says, calm your horses. So there was probably something going on in chat there. That, of course, this being a replay, I'm not able to feature. Now, once we've cleared out Foxtrot, twice at this point, the enemy starts pushing into Delta. And they seem to be bringing a bit of infantry, for some reason, right out into the open. I have no idea where they're trying to go. Because while the command infantry is running away, which leads Red 4 to capturing Delta, they still have some units which are defending the town. And they really have no way of defending this side. There's no tank, there's no AA, other than the automatic. Actually, the automatic could make a difference here. Let's see what Johnny 2003, actually I believe he already quit out. So that means that Frawfoot probably has command of this unit. Let's see what he's going to be doing. Yep, automatic opening up. A couple of hits on the BRM-1, taking it out. Command infantry still alive, still hiding. And the left side has now succumbed to the offensive from the right. Oh, sorry, from Red 4, finally. Still a bunch of Highlanders, but that's all they have left in this zone. Sorry, with the exception of one Saxon transport. Again, it seems like Red 4 is winning. They had the advantage in Delta, they have the advantage in Alpha, they, at this point, twice had the advantage in Foxtrot. But every time, Blue has been able to push them back. And once again, Matthewson in his Challenger 2 pushes back. This guy has been all over the map. Started out here, went to the right flank, came up through the right flank here, defended here, ran back to Echo to defend this area where they had the Red 4 infantry incursion, and now it's back to the left flank, where there are still quite a few targets. There's not a lot of spotting going on, so he did bring his own green jackets to do just that, but the Challenger is being detected. If Red 4 has some sort of AA plane, they can pretty easily take it out. Because while there is an automatic and a Challenger marksman, those guys might not be able to take down an aircraft or stun it in time for the Challenger to stay alive. And with the Challenger moving about this much, it's once again starting to be a concern for fuel. We have 600 out of 1900 points left, and that's quickly going down. It seems though that the Red is aware of the threat and is pushing or pulling back their T-72 and their ITO 90. Where is the Challenger going though? And look how much side it's exposing to that tree line over there. This is the second time that he got away with this. And so far so good, but you can, well, at least I wouldn't be recommending moves like this. You cannot rely on a move like this working out every time. It's just way too risky. Now, I'm not really sure how many Red 4 players are left at this point. I think that we have Best Shot who left, Balthazar left, Rub left, Socat maybe? I'm not sure about that. And look what we find here. M84 command tank. Just took out the, what was that, an M48? I think M48A5 was pushing on the right. Now the Challenger is looking for another midnight snack, spots the M84, seems to have gotten a shot in. Not enough to take it out, but at least the zone is neutralized. There's another AA unit. This is especially risky. He has a tank to his front, he has a tank more or less on his 10 to 11 o'clock, and potentially the command tank, but the command tank is pulling back. It's not sticking around for a fight. I was worried that the Dyna would start sending ATGMs in. For some reason it seems to want to close into gun range, at which point the automatic takes it out. 315 points of fuel left. You're really going to have to do something about this right now. Because if you have your Challenger 2 stuck out in the open without fuel, that could very well be the end of it. So he's pulling it back into cover. At this point, 250 units of fuel. And it's not the only thing that needs fuel, because the Challenger marksman not only has taken a hit, but also needs fuel and ammo. So it's going to take a little bit more than what this stalwart has with it to resupply these units around here. Now, with the support of the green jacket, the Wilk's being spotted, and the AH-64TD, so not a longbow but a standard Apache, is taking it out. That's one less tank to worry about, as the Challenger 2 is being resupplied. And you can see that this, as well as spare parts, is the only thing that he's providing to these units. Ammo, again, not the biggest priority because it still has plenty of ammo. Point-wise, we're looking at 3270 versus 2100. With blue suddenly pushing back on the left flank. We have Frawfoot with a lot of infantry, Rove 890s, as well as, of course, the Humvees and Rifleman 90 from Holdor, and a couple of light riflemen from the black one. Hopefully there's not too much being dedicated to this side, or actually maybe hopefully there is, because if they are dedicating a lot of units to this side, that might mean that the Challenger with all of its friends can break through in the middle, and that seems to be the case. The automatic is in the middle with the Gewehrman and the Dragonair. Again, recon is a little light, but fortunately the Maglans from Frawfoot so far have not encountered a lot of resistance, and are seemingly still alive and still pushing through without actually seeing anything. That's when the M84 turns up. Maglan's ready to go. He's putting a defense marker, be careful. Maglans did get a hit in, but lost 4 of their guys. And look at what we found. A T-72 Moderna lurking in the bushes right there. Looks like a job for the Challenger 2. Once again, Challenger 2 moves to the left flank. And I was again worried that it was moving this way, so it could have easily been side-shotted by any unit that may have been lurking in here with an ATGM. Fortunately it wasn't. And now it is in a position to help out against transports which might be supporting their own infantry on this side of the map. Again, it turns left, exposing the complete right side of the tank, which, in case of the Challenger 2, is still heavily armored at 11 points. But it is still such a risky play. The amount of times that he's getting away with this is, well, it's getting rather annoying to me at this point. Because when I play like that, I usually get my ass handed to me. But his Challenger 2 is getting away with it. Almost friendly fire incidents going on here. And it seems that these guys have cleared out all the infantry, at least in the middle of the sector. And are now working towards the other side. Where the Commando Marines, I was going to say, have probably taken out the command unit, but they haven't fired off a single round. So it's not them. Challenger 2, just outside the little hedge line over here, is still being detected. And once again, was pointing its side right towards the enemy. So once again, could have quite easily been side-shotted, especially considering there's not a lot of AA. The only one that they have is the automatic. If you fly your aircraft in like this, and then come on to the Challenger 2 onto its side, no more Challenger 2. But he once again survived. And now we're going to have another excellent episode of very, very risky play here. The Challenger 2, with 23 points of frontal armor, can definitely take a beating. But putting a Challenger 2 into a tree line without an infantry shield in front of it, no sort of screening force to detect enemy infantry, keep them at bay, suppress them, or at least keep them busy while the Challenger catches up, that is risky. Because now the Challenger 2 could be facing an infantry squad, and then another infantry squad comes up from the side and nails it. The T-72 Wilk from Dallas 4th Shooter is currently being artied. It's not quite stunned yet, but he does not seem to be in a hurry to get out, and now he is stunned. A little bit of a drive-by for 15 points, 5 and 10, so the infantry is probably still inside. Fortunately for the Challenger, the Gewehrmen have taken out this side, and once again, if there was HGMs in here, it could right now take out the Challenger 2. One of those fast HGMs onto the side, no more Challenger. Once again, Matthewson in his Challenger 2, extremely lucky over here. And that, of course, is what Lockhart mentioned in the email that he sent in with this replay. He called it the Challenger 2 that lived. Yeah, he lived through a lot of stuff. I think that this is the best travels Challenger 2 from the tactical games, at least lately. And of course, if you have another unit that survives as long as this guy, let me know. Send it in. I'll put the link in the description, and we can turn that into another excellent video. Now, it seems that there's not a lot left of red. They still have the Moderna, but it is being contained. We know exactly where it is, and it does not really have a lot of positions where it can fall back to, short of this tree line. This little forested area next to the industrial complex. If it makes its way there, at least you know where it is, but you cannot really quickly target it. Jukyon Sao got taken out, Royal Marines pushing forward, and right now we have a Newa scrambling for cover, narrowly avoiding a helicopter wreck over there. There's not a lot left of red. Blue is currently heavily leading, 3,900 points at this point, and almost 2,300 for red. Now, for some reason, the artillery player here, the black one, decides to start RDing the FOB. I'm not exactly sure why, because at this point you could quite easily capture it. You could argue that you might want to take it out just to make sure that ATGM units in here cannot use it to resupply. You could make that argument, but I think you could capture it, especially if you just blind these guys in here with smoke screens, which is something else, of course, that the LEVs can do. Now, the Challenger, surprise surprise, is running out of fuel. Same for the Challenger Marksman. So Green Jackets are pushing forward, and once again, red is being forced to withdraw. They, I think, did try to... What are we dealing with here? Is that a Kahu? Not exactly sure. They were trying to deal with an airstrike on the Moderna, I think. That's when the L-19 popped into view, immediately took it out. So the Moderna is still alive and kicking. Fortunately, again, this Moderna does not have the maximum veterancy. So Dominic over here does not seem to be using the best possible unit. He's not using an armored deck, that's for sure. Once again, the Apache comes in with support from the Bedouins, but it's now being challenged. Fortunately, all of those missiles missed it. Once again, the luck of the blue. But so far, with the AA gone, the Apache can now really get to work. And not just the Apache. The Challenger has been resupplied, albeit to about 1/3 of its fuel supply, and is ready to go forward onto the last leg of the journey towards Bravo. Green Jackets trying to spot for it. We have the Gewehrman securing the flank. Automatic pushing forward, Rams pushing forward. And there's the Moderna. There's no way back unless you want to go over that bridge. So instead the Moderna seems to be taking the honorable way out and dies to a Hellfire from the AH-64. But surprise, surprise, the T-80UM was still alive. That was the T-80UM that we saw, I think, initially around here. So far the AA's been taken out first. T-80UM's next, and there we go. Once again, the Hellfire from Zerian took it out. And that is presumably their last super heavy. We still can see some red units on the right flank. Just a couple of helos. And Newa pushing forward, nails the Alpha Jet. No more. Actually, there's the other one, an Alpha Jet as well. It's the AA. Where's the wreck? Is that it? Oh. Is that an Alpha Jet? Let's play a game. Recognize the aircraft while it's destroyed. I'm not sure. Might be. You guys probably know. I'll probably be hearing about that in the comments. Anyway, there is still one heavy tank left. T-80 UK. Can the Apache take it out? Speaking of Apaches, whatever happened to the Apache? I'm afraid the Apache went down. May have been hit by an airstrike. However, we have multiple anti-tank helicopters ready for the fight. A couple of ITOs, but the tank narrowly avoids death behind this industrial structure here. And once again the L-18 comes in, seemingly trying to do an airstrike on... Sorry, an anti-air sortie on what I presume is the ITOs. Why are you flying over here? I understand you want to get the tank, but you're an anti-tank helo, not a gunship. I was thinking he was going to land those, that would have been fun. Green Jacket's pushing forward. Yep, it looks like this last infantryman, and he's done it too, taking out the helo that was circling right outside. Let's just speed this up, this game is done. There's another command tank, T-84AK, sorry, M84AK, taken up by the Green Jackets over there. And there might still be one command unit hiding somewhere, but we're done. There's a command unit. Looks like they're sacrificing it, not so much holding it back, so you actually have to go on a hunt for it. So, that was Lockhart. 1,472 points gained, 145 points lost. That was the Challenger Marksman, the Milan 2, I think a couple transports, and not a lot more than that. Let's see. Pinzgauer Green Jacket, Milan 2, Pinzgauer Green Jacket, Challenger Marksman. That's all he lost. There were three... Sorry, there was... No, I was going to say there were 3 different T-80UMs, but it's one T-80UM that cost him all of these losses. That's the T-80UM that finally got taken out at the last moments of the battle. Let's see. I think that was the Apache that took it. Actually, no. It was the Challenger 2 that took it out. Babin, right there. Look at the kill list of this Challenger 2. 1, 2, 3 command units. Super heavy wise, he took out the T-80UM. He supported the left flank against the Dyna 1, which for some reason kept pushing forward. He took out a Wilk. And overall, he was, well, just incredibly lucky not to get side-shotted by helicopters, airstrikes, ATGMs, other tanks which suddenly got a beat on him. This is the Challenger 2 that lived. I would, however, not recommend that you play this type of risky gameplay, because while it does work, or at least sometimes it tends to work, it is extremely, extremely risky. And of course, you can see that it's nice to make a video about it, because this time it did work. But I'm not going to cover the other 99 times when a play like this, with frequently driving on to the enemy with your side, did not work. That would not make for very good videos. Well, maybe a blooper reel, but that's about it. Anyway, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comments. And if you have a game like this, feel free to send it in through the link in the description down below. Make sure you give a good description for your game and why I should be covering it. And you might see it on the channel. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon for more videos.